AFL Round 9 is upon us, so let's get tipping who we think is going to win this week. But first, as always, we got to see how we did in Round 8. It started off okay. I wasn't that close on the shot difference. However, we got the point. Thursday was Essendon versus North, and it was a pretty low-scoring game. And North, so close, yet no cigar, as they say, because Essendon won by 3 points. I did them to win by 24. So I get 1 point on the board. That's an okayish start. Next, Freo collapsed. Freo decided not to make the trip over to Victoria because Saints ran out winners here by 61 points. Now, Freo, this is one of their lowest scores, 33. Wow. Just the kids can do better than that, I'm in no doubt. So I did Freo by 18 and they lost. So nothing for me in that game. Next on Saturday was Western Bulldogs versus Port. And Port didn't do much better either. We are getting some very, very low scoring teams this week just gone. So Bulldogs, they ended up winning. I did predict that. No one got anywhere near because they won by 90. I did them to win by 15. So I get the point for the win. Just crazy. Port, weird. Freo, weird. You don't know when they're going to turn up. Next was Crows versus Carlton. And I thought Carlton would find a little bit of form. That was a mistake. And Carlton let me down again. So I did Carlton by 7, but they actually lost by 60. Fantastic result, performance by Crows, keeping them in the mix up there, currently on around 5th place, I think. So nothing for me there. Things do sort of look up because Collingwood versus Cats, I did a real low margin here. I did Collingwood by 3. Actually, it was Geelong by 3. So I just had a feeling it would be a very tight game, and that it was. I know a lot of people, as you can see by all the black here, a lot of people did some biggish scorelines. I'll get half a point. So it's not too bad. And Geelong, 13%, only 13% went for Geelong, and Geelong have that ability to get results and win games, no doubt about it. Then West Coast versus Melbourne, and this is probably the highest percentage West Coast will have most of the season. I did Melbourne by 35, and they won by 32. It was at least it was a fairly high scoring game. They're D's now. Are they finding that form? Are their teams starting to play? I think to build that momentum, playing West Coast was a great timing for sure. 1.5 points. Then, Sydney, Isaac Keaney, Sydney Gold Machine, na. Anyway, sorry. Only 25%. I said this last week, do I go head or do I go heart? I chose heart, and I was victorious because we won by 14 points. So happy. I was worried that we were going to throw it away, but we didn't. Sydney, I did by 6. I get the win and a close score. Get in there. Next was Hawthorn versus Richmond, and I thought it would be a big difference. It was even bigger than I thought because Hawthorn managed to win by 65 compared to the 40 that I went for. I haven't been brave enough to go for these ridiculous score lines, and maybe I should. 1 point for the win, though. Then the last game, Brisbane versus Gold Coast, and I get another close score. I did Brisbane to win by 11. They won by 17. Gold Coast it was a low-scoring game again. Gold Coast luckily got a few goals right near the end to bring it a little bit closer to help me out. But 44, 49. Let's see what else we had. We had 50. We had 41 and 33, and even the 60s. A very low-scoring week for some teams. Let's see what movement we have in the league table then. Aussie Dylan is still on top. Wow. It's got a 4-point lead now. Really pushing away. Vam H up to 2nd. Magpie Paulie up to 3rd. DJD down to 4th. Yin and Sister Fifi are both in the same spots, 5th and 6th. RPN is down 1. Roscoe... Golden Hat up there in 8th place, gone up 28 places. Well done. Let's see any other big movers then. Up 13 is Doofus, 20 and 20, Go Bloods and Sans Pants. Any big downs? Any big 20 up 23 anti-vax hero? Good. Down 16 Smiley. Up 22 Boggy. Down 16 Think Outside the Square. Adelaide Bulldog as well. Up 32 Naked Meeple. Well done. That's very, very good. Up 22 Ballarat Koala. Down 21 is Spitiful. Ouch. Up 28 and 23 is Rumney and Aaron. Up 26, Sydney Swan. Down 26 and 21 is Ryan and Tom here. Now, Jackson, 2 years ago winner, is up 13. The Wooden Spoon down 38 goes to Smithy. Ouch, your mama. So, that's bad to see. Wooden Spoon, buddy. Still higher up than me. Down 23 is Owie. Down 38 is Sam Bird. Ouch. Let's see where I am up 8 places. Up 8 places. I'm now going to hit some form and I am going to shoot up the table. Golden hat probably next week. Let's see where everyone else finishes. Down 33, 26, Mr. Freo fan and Otis. Mr. Freo fan definitely picked Freo to win. And there is the league table, how it stands. On to round 9. Now, we start on Thursday the 8th at Optus Stadium, and we have Freo versus Collingwood. Now, on paper, Freo 4 from 8. Form has been up and down. They've had good results. As we saw last week, very, very bad results. Pies obviously lost their second game last week against Cats in a close game. There really is only one winner here, surely, on paper. But I think Collingwood, they may be resting some of their veterans with a bit of a shorter turnaround. But I think the Pies' depth is certainly greater. And, you know, it was valiant last week, their loss, wasn't it? I think Freo, they got absolutely smashed in round 8, and I think that will really knock their confidence big time. I could be completely wrong, and, you know, they could come out flying and rejuvenated and after a kick up the arse, but I'm not sure. They've got players like Nat Fyfe out, and I think even at home, I just think Collingwood, they are playing well. Despite that loss last week, they are playing very well. So for the first game of the week, I'm going to go Collingwood with a decent score. I'm going to go Collingwood by 45. It's a big score, and could be right, could be wrong. It's all if Freo decide to turn up. That's always the main thing, quite often with Freo. Friday is at MCG, Saints versus Carlton. Carlton was shocking last week. They had a good run of form, but just sort of fell apart last week. Saints, they're riding high after a big win, showing that kind of real form and confidence that they can produce. They obviously had 3 losses in a row, but finally pulled a result back. I think Saints might get a boost with Mason Wood expected to be back from concussion, hopefully for them, and that would be pretty big. Carlton, they're missing Adam Serra, due to suspension. It's at the MCG, not St Kilda's usual place. Normally they're at Marvel, but I don't think, like I said, a lot of these Victorian teams, they're so used to playing at MCG, I don't think it's going to affect them. I'm going to go with St Kilda here because I just don't trust Carlton. And I don't trust St Kilda really either, but I'm going to go with Saints by 8. Tight-ish game maybe. I just don't see much quality in both sides really. But Carlton just are disappointing. They are disappointing. Next, Saturday 10th at MCG again. Melbourne versus Hawthorn. Well, Melbourne are starting to find some form, aren't they? Now, Hawthorn still third in the table. Only 2 losses. Doing very well. They picked up from those back-to-back losses. And Melbourne now finding their feet. Their players are actually finally starting to show what they can do, which is a good start, isn't it? You know, it's difficult because Hawthorn are one of the informed teams this season. And the Hawks probably going to be near full strength as well. Or, you know, players like Carl Amon is going to probably be back. Melbourne lose the swingman Harrison Petty. which certainly is going to weaken their defence. Oh, I don't know. I know MCG, Melbourne's home ground, but I don't think Hawthorn mind playing there. This is a tough one considering the position in the league. I just think Melbourne are trying now, but I'm going to go with the Melbourne win. Screw it. I'm going to go with the Melbourne win by 12. I just think maybe they're finding their feet a little bit now, and could be wrong, but it'll be a very big win if they can get it. Okay, next, Marvel. Essendon versus Swans. I'm going with Swans because my heart rules, and last week it worked. But if you look at it, look, Essendon, they got a decent win last week. All right, it was only 3 points to North, and that makes you think if you can only beat North by 3, and that's mean about North, but come on, let's be honest. If you can only beat North by 3 points, there is something wrong. I think Essendon are a little bit banged up. Jordan Ridley, he's out with a hamstring. Ruckman Sam Draper is done for the season, among others. So, that's not great. Now, obviously, looking at Swans, we've still got plenty of players out. We do. Taylor Adams is still out, big loss. Yeah. And so, I don't know. I'm not sure if the other players, how long they're till back. But let's go with Swans. Sydney by 12, because we haven't really been dominating and winning by a lot. Next, TIO Stadium in Darwin, Gold Coast versus Bulldogs. Gold Coast, I think, they're not slipping up necessarily because they get a win and they're on the same amount as Collingwood and Hawthorn. Western Bulldogs, 3 wins in a row now, and they are pushing up the table as well. I think with Bulldogs coming in red hot, really, they absolutely destroyed Port. Destroyed them by 90 points, was insane. And when Bulldogs can click like that, they take some stopping. They really, really do take some stopping, and they are one of the best sides in the league when they play like that. Gold Coast, yeah, they're won in their last 3. It is up in Darwin as well. Oh, man. The Suns, Lockie Weller, gone with a hamstring. Bulldogs, they are close to full strength. It's a difficult one because Darwin, playing up in Darwin, is basically a home away from home for Gold Coast. And I think the Suns love the top end conditions, don't they? They do. It's all about, I think, playing in Darwin versus Bulldogs' form. You've got to go with form a little bit here, don't you? You've got to, with the being in pretty much full strength. This could go either way. I'm going to do Dogs by 6. I'm going to keep it tight. That could go either way. Really, really difficult one to call. But then we have the showdown. Yes, that is the name the media have given it. The Adelaide Derby. It is a derby. Just because it's called the showdown, just because the media call it the showdown, it is still a derby, okay? I've had these comments before. A derby is when 2 rival teams play each other. It's a derby, but you call it the showdown, okay? Simple. Anyway, Port versus Adelaide. Both teams, where are they? 12th Port are, and Adelaide up in 5th. Not a lot of difference at all in these teams. Both teams have either turned up or not turned up. They've either been won or they've been battered. Some really, really shocking performances from both teams, really, this year. You got the momentum. This is not an easy one to call. I think Port's lineup is a little bit unsettled with some key players banged up and out of form. I think Port are lacking that grunt in the midfield. Oh, man. I don't know. I don't know. The only thing I can really go on, other than the fact that, Port's midfield may be a little bit banged up and whatnot, is that Adelaide's have come off a fantastic win. That's all I can do, I think. Really difficult. I'm going to go with a Crows win. That'll keep Babs happy. I'm going to do a Crows win by 36. Fairly big win. That's what I'm going with. Anyway, Sunday, MCG. Richmond versus West Coast. I can't see this being a very good game, but you never know. It may be. Both teams are having a rough season again. But West Coast is slightly rougher because at least Richmond have 2 wins. You can only go with Richmond here because you can't see West Coast even buying a win. They need to bribe all the umpires, turn off all the technology just so no one sees anyone hitting, if it goes past the line and things. West Coast are just shocking. Granted, Richmond are still without Tom Lynch, among others, yet they have some young talent that is coming through, mixing that with some of the experienced heads. I think playing at MCG is very big for Richmond here. Richmond win. It's got to be, surely. Richmond are going to come out flying and a win by 50 points. Let's try that one. 50 points. Okay. The litter tray. Geelong versus Giants. Geelong, fantastic win last week. It was a tight one, but they did manage to knock off Collingwood by a few points, sorry. So that's positive. Giants slipping a little bit, aren't they? They are slipping a little bit with 3 losses in a row. They started the season really well. Just now dipping, whereas the Cats are finding form, bar 1 loss 2 weeks ago. That's what we're looking at. I think Geelong sort of like this time of year. There's been a few seasons that I've seen them now where just as the season starts pushing into the second half, they then ramp up a little bit, don't they? There's a few niggles with Geelong. So players like Jack Henry, he's still out with a hamstring, for example. But honestly, they look fine without him. So let's not even bother. And the litter tray. The litter tray is a fortress. It is a fortress. None of that litter gets out. Just the shit stays in there. So that doesn't make any sense to the reference other than the fact it's a litter tray. So, Cats. Cats are going to go with a decent win here. Cats are going to win by 56. I'm going big scores. A couple of big scores. Okay. It is the Bellarive Hobart. North versus Brisbane. Should we just tip Brisbane now? Yeah, poor old North. They just try so hard and can't get a result. They almost did last week. Almost did. They do show so much heart. They really do. And almost took the game against Eston last week. I watched the last little bit of it. I think the Roo rebuild really has hit a bit of a snag with young forwards like Paul Curtis suspended. These idiots, they've got to stop doing stupid things and getting suspended because it is killing their team. It is killing them. So, that's all I've got, really. Brisbane by 33. So, to recap, we've got Pies by 45, Saints by 8, D's by 12, Swans by 12, Dogs by 6, Crows by 36, Richmond by 50, Cats by 56 and Brisbane by 33. I don't know. As long as the Swans win, it's just a game. As in, this league is just a game. Obviously, AFL and Sydney winning is not just a game. It is life and death. It's life and death. Well, thank you so much for watching. Once again, you guys are awesome for following along every week. If you want to support the channel, you can simply like and subscribe. Or if you want to do more, become a channel member, buy me a coffee. But basically, there's stuff in my LinkedIn that you can look at to support the channel so we can keep doing this. But as always, I'll catch you next week.